Welcome back. It's the scandal that has local residents fuming with allegations of animal neglect and mistreatment. And they're now calling on authorities to intervene before more damage is done.
Tethered to a tree in the middle of a dry creek bed with little food and water. It's a confronting scene, but one that's all too familiar for the residents of this small country town.
It's just disturbing. I mean, I go home and cry.
Tonight, the community that's rallying together to put a stop to this neglect. And this is the woman they have in their sights.
You can see why people around here are concerned, aren't you? It doesn't take an expert to see that there is something wrong with this animal, Janice.
Nestled in the Bega Valley in New South Wales, Candelo is known for its historic buildings, quaint stores and spectacular views. But it's pictures like these that locals have had enough of.
It makes me sick.
And they're calling on authorities to act before it's too late.
It's got to stop. Has to stop.
It certainly doesn't take an expert to see that this horse is in very poor condition. Its ribs are sticking out, its backbones here are sticking out, it has open sores, barely any water or food. And if you look back here, you can see that it's tethered, which means it can't go anywhere. Now, somebody has tied it here, but the question is, just who is responsible?
This horse here...
For over a decade, zoologist Lara Fanning says she's watched on in shock.
They were in quite poor condition. They had a variety of problems. They were malnourished severely.
It became so bad that in 2014 a court found Janice Northey guilty of 54 counts of animal cruelty. Now many of the locals claim she's at it again.
What we have seen is that the same horses are still in the same paddocks, in the same area, and the same person is seen tending to them and moving them.
Along with being fined thousands of dollars, she was later banned from purchasing, acquiring or having custody of more than 5 horses until 2021. However, at the time of filming, we counted at least 6.
I thought you weren't supposed to be in custody of more than 5.
Well, you know what?
What?
I'm not the only one looking after them on my property.
This fella here is extremely emaciated.
Among those speaking out is horse owner Anne-Marie O'Reilly.
It's disgusting. How can anybody treat an animal like that? This is why I'm doing this, because that horse can't speak for itself.
Today, Anne-Marie has offered to show us some of the horses she claims Janice is responsible for. At first, she shows us several in private paddocks, then others on Crown land. But arguably the most heartbreaking are these ones, just some 100 metres from Janice's property.
How long are they being tied up?
I took a photo of this pony 2 months ago.
In the same spot?
In exactly the same spot.
As you walk along the riverbed, it doesn't take long to notice the empty feed buckets.
He's now looking for water. And yeah, mate, there is no water.
Then there's this horse tangled in his rope.
He's eating fireweed. Fireweed will eventually do a lot of damage.
When we return the next day, Janice turns up with a trailer load of feed.
So are they your horses, yes or no?
I'm not going to mention anything.
Despite telling us that the horses are owned by family members, she seems to know an awful lot about them.
At the moment, I'm just helping. We're trying to do what we can with the drought and everything else.
Come on, those horses aren't just affected by the drought.
They have been.
Oh, I'm sure they have been, but that's not just the drought. We drive through paddocks and paddocks and there are horses in far better condition.
Okay, well, if that's your opinion, that's your opinion.
They are horses that are suffering.
They're not suffering, they're fed, they're watered, they're cared for every day.
They're watered? Well, yesterday when we came here, there was not a piece of feed in sight. Here's a bag of bones, Janice. Okay, well, what has happened? Tell me, what has happened? Because this isn't just drought related.
He was teething. He's getting fed every day. Yes, he has been.
Teething has left him into this state. How many teeth has he got coming through if that's because of teething?
Despite the signs of neglect, Janice also tells us that they do get looked after.
If it hadn't been for me, he would have had a bullet. I want to try and save that pony. I'm trying to do everything for him.
Of course, it's not just the state of these horses that has residents up in arms.
I'm shattered. I don't know what to do. 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 I don't know
Rosalind Freer says she and her partner were approached by Janice shortly after they moved to the area.
She would never say they were her animals. She would say that they were owned by family members.
Rosalind says she felt sorry for the woman, so agreed to take 20 horses and 15 cows on her property for 12 months. 20 months later, though, she claims many were still there.
We politely asked her, because the thing was she wasn't coming down to tend to them or feed them. I mean, we had to feed them. We were out of pocket over $5,000.
So can you see why people are angry?
I can see why some people would be angry.
I don't know what to do.
Last November, Janice's neighbour tells us she went to her property to complain about the noise her dog was making. But what she found was far more disturbing. But perhaps most shocking of all is the lack of response residents say they're getting from authorities. They claim they've reported the condition of a number of horses to council, police and animal welfare groups, but fear they're not moving fast enough. In a statement, the RSPCA New South Wales told us that it is actively investigating a matter in relation to between 70 and 80 horses located on over 6 properties, and say they are lengthy, ongoing and jurisdictionally difficult matters.
All I really want to see is these horses rescued.
It's terrible. RSPCA New South Wales tells us an inspector has since visited the area and that those investigations are still ongoing.